All right, welcome back. We're ready to go for the final match here, and this is going to be on Inferno. And M80 have put themselves on a previous win on Ancient in pretty confident fashion. But now the question will be, Paladin, can they do the same thing on a map where E-Xolos LAZER look a little bit better on paper?
They've definitely improved M80 on this map in terms of how they've tried to get through with Inferno, but unfortunately for E-Xolos LAZER, it's not going to be an easy task to see if they can overwhelm them. Another T-sided start for M80 here to see if they can rack up some rounds. And they're going to get a lot of room into Banana. They've pushed back Denoco very well. They've taken him out. And now it's just Tadazin left on the site. They've got a smoke available, but with that kill onto Lake, they're actually going to back away instead.
Yeah, and I kind of like this reaction too, right? From LAZER. I mean, the fact they're going to just kind of split things off at the 2-2, which makes the most sense, just being down from Danico. But now it's a question about, W1 or maybe even Moth being able to find something on this. I believe there's a smoke available, but it's a question of W1's going to be able to get that more than one kill, and he will not. So now the Glocks reigning a little bit more supreme on this to get themselves in this site. Landon and Tadazin now kind of split apart from each other. No opportunity for the trade on this, so this is going to be a bit of an awkward fight. I mean, now you can see Tadazin making his way into apartments. And now Landon, I mean, he's going to have to fight through a smoke. Not an easy one for him to go through, and this is the thing that's so difficult about this map, right? I mean, it's a little bit of utility can make such a difference on this in terms of just, for the retakes, more difficult here for the CT side. And now M80 looks like they've secured themselves the pistol and a little bit of a consolation prize here for Landon, but honestly, M80 looking pretty swift here to start things off with the opener.
Yeah, they make that snap decision to move back to the A site as soon as Rec gets all the way through Boiler. And it's a risky decision to move back into another site after taking so much control on the B site. But in this situation, it worked out splendidly, especially after retaining only one frag for the CT side on that Moto side. Well done to M80 to get themselves another Stark pistol round. But unlike Ancient, E-Xolos LAZER will try to fight tooth and nail here on the second round of affairs. They'll purchase all the way through with some 5.7s. MP9 and a scout for Landon. A little bit of a shoulder spotted, but cannot connect onto Swisher as he'd hoped.
Yeah, at least the damage is getting inflicted though, right? I mean, this is the thing where, like you were kind of mentioning, is the fact that Sin and Lake, they've taken a bit here. But we'll have to see, what's going to come through here for Landon. I mean, I feel like this map should be a lot better for him to be able to find something with the scout. Oh, man, Swisher, dear God, he's able to get out of that. I thought he was pretty much going to be gone, but at least he gets the timing right to cross into the wall just to get himself a little bit of coverage. But, okay, now Sin's going to be removed. But once again, I mean, for M80, they got some really good investment on this, but they've already lost their IGL. What are they going to do with this? A 3-2 setup from the CT side. And Lake, he's in this position where he's kind of lurking by himself once again. This seems to be his play. This seems to be like his bit of a game plan. Now his teammates are going to join him. So now the execute's getting thrown. 3 players from the CT side will be committed onto this. But the 5.7s in this close quarters, this is going to be lethal. This is really, really dangerous for right now for M80. They have to be aware of this. They have to be aware that this could be a possibility. Lake, once again, he's able to stop them a little bit longer, but 25 seconds remaining. But Tadazin with a big swing. He's not able to find any sort of damage at all. Landon almost able to land these shots, it looks like, but now this thing is just turned on its head. And E-Xolos LAZER, they're going to have to save things up here with this MAC 10 and armor.
Yeah, they take a little bit of a beat after they throw that CT smoke. And it causes so much commotion, especially for Landon, as he begins to pull away. He starts to move back to that A-bomb site. And you're thinking, this can't be it. This can't be the read that solves the round for the CT side. And M80, they follow through. They go into that site. They find the necessary entries. Credit to Lake there. And M80 continue their winning ways. They get themselves that second round. They pretty much have a third round teed up here. here. I'm not going to necessarily expect for Mott's MAC-10 that's saved over to do much damage, especially considering there will always be helmets on the other end of the equation. So for the laser side, try to get it involved, try to play around it with a couple more players in a buddy system or something like that. But for M80, they have done everything they need to navigate that initial issue of the force buy.
Yeah, these MAC 10s are a really good idea too. I love that Lake just reinvest for it, just because, like you mentioned, I mean, for the CT side, the fact that they did put a lot of, the money where the mouth was, but it just wasn't able to find the round. I mean, now they're in a bit of a blender in the sense of just, not able to put really much into this. I mean, so now the MAC 10s, if M80 can find that, that's just going to add way more coin here, just getting that op ready to go. But it is essentially a 5-player stack here from Laser. I feel like they've been pretty good about this so far, Paladin. I feel like there's been lots of times in the previous match and this one now, even early on, they've been able to have some pretty decent reads. It's more about the execution of it, if it can be done nicely. And look at Sin. He's just kind of toying with him. Now he has a full read on this. He's just calling for his teammates to fall back. Bomb's going to retreat all the way to the B site. But look at these guys. They're just taking them out one by one. And finally, W1's able to get something done, but it's a little too late now. It's a Galil MAC 10 picked up. Surely they're just going to try to save this. But look at even Slacks. He's close on by. Moth, everything in his power to maybe try to save this. Should be able to, but honestly, like, he can have it. I mean, the only big thing I would say is his full armor right now.
He just wants to get that Galil if possible. That was the name of the game. They just wanted to get away with the rifle. But it doesn't work out. Moth has one right at the base of Boiler that he can snag at the tail end of that bomb explosion. But now he's getting punched as well. Lake is hot on his heels. He will fall. More money in the back pocket of Moth. But, oh, I was going to say maybe he would just get punched yet again, but he lives. He lives throughout that entire round, but he doesn't get the Galil. That being said, he can purchase in that AWP for Landon, but Landon will do that himself. I don't like that. I actually would have liked Moth to drop it over so they could have had more utility, but no harm, no foul. They'll try to make do with these A4s. And M80 are off to the races now with this 3-0 lead. How do they want to go about this default? How do they want to get Lake involved as well? Because so far, he's been getting the necessary entries. He's been looking pretty clean. And you'd want to get this guy involved, make him feel confident in his new threads on this M80 side.
Good utility being thrown here. W1, the cost of him being down to 13, is able to find something. A little bit of a connection with the op. It's through the corner of the wall. Not able to find the kill, but again, that's going to be costly. But even now, this banana push, that's going to be able to isolate something. But the bomb's already made its way into this site. The plant's coming through. And I mean, again, this is that situation where I talked about this in what, round 1, maybe round 2 is, Inferno, as much as it's such a classic map to play and everything, it is really frustrating on the CT side because as soon as you lose that 1-2 players, it can change the whole thing, right? I mean, that really does make the biggest difference. I mean, now that nade kill, it adds a bit more of a question mark, maybe. Now you can see the CTs are starting to accelerate something. Now they want to be able to see if they can get it done, but I don't know. It might be a little too late here, Paladin, and I think they realize that even though they're winning these fights, and it was just kind of that, like, early decision that they pulled back, and now it's going to bite them a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at the tail end. I think they're definitely playing for exits in that circumstance, considering they don't have any kits, and they could never truly crunch in. But E-Xolos LAZER will do just some basic damage. That being said, Slacks gets himself a free AWP upgrade. There is no economic concerns whatsoever, even with those kills coming in for the Brazilians. And so it's really just consolation at that point for the CTs. It's doing a little bit of damage. It is chipping away at that bank account, but they've got to start getting rounds on the board, and they're trying to get Landon involved. He got a tag, but not the frag earlier on in round number 3. And we're going to need a little bit more out of him to try and muscle this laser side back in the competition.
if I'm not mistaken, this might be one of the. I feel like this might be one of the first times we've seen this roster play on Inferno. Am I crazy? I feel like the last time we saw was against Wildcard, where that was their old roster, and that was a couple months ago. That's like when we're talking about with like Mulbs and things like that. So unless I'm wrong here, unless I'm
Yeah, it might be one of those newer opportunities. It definitely, I mean, they definitely not played too many maps altogether, right? At EWC.
yeah, so it definitely makes more of that the bit of a question mark, and that's where we talked a lot about the building blocks for M80 right now, with them just having some different tournament experience and things like that, with Lake being addition to the roster. That's a nice little bit of a swing. Nice coordination and idea, but once again, it's just Tadison by himself, trying to do some pretty heavy lifting, but those weights are a little bit too much to squat. But once again, back to the 4-4, and look at how much control already M80 have. They've taken bracket control. Now they're going to be going through lane. They're going to be able to get this timing, and there it is. Look at W1. He had no idea. He had no clue at all that somebody was going to be there, and that's where we talked about the communication and that experience from M80 is just really starting to prevail.
Yeah, you have to definitely question Lazer's defensive protocols there. I think Moth was jiggling in that side of the map where they're just checking middle again and again, and they're not spotting anything. But all while this is happening, there have been a couple of T-sided members that were able to sneak up the lane side through Boiler, and they get away with a side of a headshot for themselves. And unfortunately, some of the holes in this CT-sided is just kind of rearing its ugly head. It's a nice shot for Dinoco, but again, this is just... These kills don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. There will always be purchases. There will always be guns on the other side of the equation. And Lazer just cannot piece together anything right now.
No. And it's good that you bring it up, right? Because it really doesn't mean anything to get those extra kills, like for E-Xolos LAZER, it really means nothing. Because I mean, what was Slack's like 10.8k or something? Like it's like the guy's just rolling in cash right now. So I mean, for those guys, like yeah, they could try to hunt and just see if they can find maybe a quick kill, which definitely makes more of an impact against the CT side. But M80 now 1 round away from securing the half minimum, like a 6-6 if we see something. Good Molotov going to be thrown here from the T side. That's just, again, just going to push back any of these CTs to be a bit more aggressive in the apartment. So they've already, once again, found themselves so much map control. And this is really impressive because E-Xolos LAZER, they're just kind of turtling up. They don't seem to have the answer for this. And now M80, they don't even look like they're hesitating. They're just going to come right through this. They just want to get the job done. Landon finally makes something with a connection here, Paladin, but... is it really going to be enough? Is it going to be enough to find something? And maybe with Moth finally getting something with the M4? But my god, these shots are just missing now for the CT side. And Paladin, this thing's looking like it's all over again.
How in the hell did Slacks hit that shot? That was unreal. And now, E-Xolos LAZER again. It doesn't matter what the site is, they just cannot hold on. Be it that B bomb side, they're getting pushed away by utility here on this A side. I don't know if it's the communication or just the timings that are evading them, but M80 are getting so much ground down brackets. They're getting so much space in the apartments that they can just contact out with this quick little pop of a flashbang and snap their fingers into that first letter of the alphabet. There's just nothing to write home about for the LAZER side, and now they're getting blindsided even on the exits. Tadison will not be able to save over his weaponry, and it's just Dinoco saving his sniper. Yeah, take a timeout now if you're the Brazilian side, because this game is a non-starter to say the least. There is nothing to really write home about or get excited about if you are a Brazilian fan in this situation.
Yeah, and this is concerning too, right? Because like we were talking about, statistically, like on paper, this is a decent win percentage map for someone like LAZER, but again, they've only played like 4 officials on this with a 3-1 record. Their CT side, theoretically has been just about 70% of a win rate, but then when you kind of flip the coin, like historically with M80 and the roster, and like I said, even though it was a different roster and this is kind of their debut a little bit, but it's looking like their game plan's still working, right? Even removing Mulbs or having Mulbs removed and stuff like that, like a part of this roster, it's already looking so good because it's a 6-0, and I love that they're just mixing it up, right? I mean, even playing aggressive that previous round in round number 6, they're not just kind of doing the same thing over and over. They're really mixing it up, making it even more difficult right now for the CT side.
Now Dinoco is going to try to get a little bit more aggressive, but this time it's Lake combined with the flashbang of Slacks to absolutely eviscerate the B bomb site's defense. It just gets melted, and M80 have another free bomb site to overtake. They'll get it, no harm, no foul. Landon has to just look on and hope that he can land a bullet, but nothing connects. Minute 12 on the clock. We've decided the 7th round of play. And M80 are just showing why they are a world-class side right now within North America. Nothing to write home about here for E-Xolos LAZER.
No, I mean, this is the thing now, like where we talked about the money is, you know, still pretty in a good spot here for M80. They're going to go for the hunt. They might as well go for these fights. And look at these 3 CTs grouped up in pit and in lane. So, I mean, this is the thing. M80 are now going to be re-executing into a site just to take them out, just to get rid of these guns. The round is theirs for sure. And look at how fast they just take them out single-handedly. And they what? They didn't even lose a player. There was some damage inflicted, but again, M80, like you said, it's a masterclass that we're seeing from them right now. This is where we talked about they're such an exciting team in our region just because all this experience that they've gained is just starting to show how scary they can be in ECL. And man, oh man, they are paving the way to get themselves that 2-0 quickly so far for the league.
Yeah, now you can start to see that poise that makes M80 so dangerous. When their individuals start getting hot, they can kind of get away with anything. They're trying these aggressive pops, and LAZER just don't have any response so far. Lake is doing so much work on this banana side, and Rec on the A side of things is also wreaking havoc. LAZER, at this point, I mean, you can't play scared. You've got to get a little bit more aggressive. You've got to get in the faces. You've got to quell this fire that is brewing in the M80 side, and it's just not to be. I mean, what is this? Like, you got a gamble going on to lead on B? That's not going to work, because at this point, as you saw in the round previous, they are taking both the bomb sites with ease.
They really are. It's like you said, it's like whatever flavor they want or whatever choosing they have, it's theirs, right? I mean, that's the thing. So even though there's 4 players here, this will be like with the pistols. Can LAZER be able to find the crossfires? Will they be able to find something to get themselves, you know, a little bit better about these duels? Because it just feels like it's been lackluster to say the least. I think that was a bit of a team flash from their end, and actually it might stop them a little bit, but no. Rex just going to come in once again. He finally gets removed here, but yeah, it's looking like a bit of a dominant force, but finally we do see LAZER finally getting something done. Lake trying everything he can. It's a bit of a challenging kill, but the Glock's out. Oh dear God, I don't know what's going on. It's weird, it's awkward, it's all sort of everything, but it doesn't matter because it's M80 still keeping their undefeated streak alive.
A very awkward round. It's one of the few that M80 actually make the wrong decision, but it doesn't matter. And again, I have to harp back towards the individuals on M80 just finding their stride and not really missing a beat. And I mean, every clear is just looking so solid. Their flight paths are down to a T. The executions with the utility sets are all hitting. I've not really seen any missed bits of utility. It is really just another class of Inferno on the T side, and the CT side just clambering to get involved somehow, some way. I feel like that's the first 5v4 they've gotten so far, and now they've got a man advantage as well. Maybe, just maybe, LAZER can assemble around here to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, whenever you ever seen them in the man advantage, like you just said, right? I mean, that's I think this has got to be the first time, I swear. Like, or if it wasn't, then it was quick where maybe brought it back. W1 holding a tight bit of an angle, and now we're finally starting to see it. So, okay, now the table has turned just a little bit for round number 9, and M80, they're probably going to be on the save. Sin, I mean, even if he gets killed here, it's really not going to matter because, again, their money's looking good. 2 players alone sitting over 10K. But if he can keep that up in the rotation here with the last remaining rounds in the first half, it's not going to be a bad thing. But, finally we see Laser get something going, right? The pulse is not maybe the strongest paladin, but there's a pulse.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a long route to really talk about anything formidable here, but it's something. You gotta find something to work with. And now at this point, Sin, I think the name of the game is just to save. I really do hate this. I mean, you've got players with 10k on the other end. Why not try to do some additional damage on the tail end? But, it is what it is. He will confirm that save.
And then he goes for it at the last second, but yeah,
Bizarre.
all right, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, bizarre is probably the best way to describe it, because you could even see, like, had the op, dropped it, went back for the op. It's just, I don't understand. They must have been calming, like, who wants an op? And they're like, nah. And then someone's like, nah, I'll do it. Yeah, give me the op. And then it's a little too late. But you know what? Doesn't matter. E-Xolos LAZER are now finally on the board. Goose Egg's gone. Is it enough? I don't know. I mean, look, it's never impossible, but I mean, you're in round 10. We're pretty much getting to the end points here of the first half, so they're gonna have to have a pretty good way to close things off here. An 8-4 maybe, but I mean, we'll have to see if M80 turn things up a little bit with their strategies, or if they kind of go right back to what they've been doing before. But that's the thing, they've been mixing it up so much so far in this game.
And again, they sneak up the bracket side. There is no presence from the CT side to know what's going on in the situation. And to make matters worse, Lake has found another kill on the other end of the map. The CT side now are going to be sent reeling, trying to figure out what M80 is trying to piece together. Landon is going to put his scope into the center of the map, see if he can suss out at least one individual, but the longer he swings out, the deeper he swings out, the chances of him getting traded are next to nothing, and he will get absolutely eviscerated. Swisher is there for another frag. 5v3, make that 5v2 for M80, and they are just running through round number 10. Talk about a speed run, and count at 9 on the top of your scoreboards for M80.
And that's the thing, though, right? I mean, this is what you love to see for any M80 fans, is like, someone like Rec, like, look at how he's just going through apartment, just finding these duels, like, in no fear in the world, just winning these engagement. It feels like Laser are just, they literally are running on like fumes right now. It does not feel like they have any sort of firepower. The most amount of frags on this team is 7, and then the next is going to be Taz in here with 5, but they don't mean anything because they've been kind of these random exit kills or whatever it may be. So now we're sitting at a 9-1. And once again, the money's just starting to, kick back up a little bit here for M80. Rifles will be on the docket with kind of a weird compilation here with the M9, but we need to see something different. I feel like the CT side, they haven't really tried aggression in mid or like anything like that. I love to see them like go for something different now. Whatever they're doing is not clearly working.
They need to fight for brackets, like first things first. They're not giving any attention to that point of the map. That you've got Swisher charging up Arch, you've got a player already at hay bales almost instantaneously. They can't catch a break. You can't give up car and brackets. It can be one or the other. It cannot be both. And right now they're gonna try their hand at maybe some apps aggression, and this could potentially work. There is this setup to goad in Landon with this scope, but he misses this shot. That should be the SMG to capitalize, and there it will come through. W1 will finally find another opening for the CT side, but Lake is still causing problems on the B side as Swisher finds another. And oh my goodness, man, it is just, it's not even a competition at this point. Every aim duel is just going the M80's way.
Yeah, even with that like little bit of a play, I think that was from Landon NW1 and like apartments. I like that. I liked that idea. That was the only fight they took down Rec. They finally removed one problem, but then they had 4 other problems to worry about. And like you said, man, it doesn't even feel like it's the same weight class right now. It really just feels like M80 are, just a very different division in comparison to these guys, and they just can't seem to buy around or buy kill really. So This is, you know, for M80 fans in, you know, in the chat right now, definitely should be taking a lot of notes of this. This is a really stellar performance for them, but now they're going to be sitting at double digits. And I mean, yeah, a couple of kills once again, but it really doesn't matter again because look at even Lake has 14K. Paladin, he has literally almost the max amount of money. Like, when do we ever get to say that?
I feel as though all of the kills, or most of the kills for Laser, have been on exits. Like, I don't feel like they've gotten too many kills in the rounds themselves. It's been a real issue for them. They've just not been able to, one, get the aimers in the right positions, but two, the aimers aren't able to win the duels outright. And when both of those sides of the game are going against you, it's always going to be a tough time. It's always going to showcase a lopsided scoreline, and Lake is not missing a beat. Ruthless as ever, taking out Tadazin straight away. I like this attempt at the nade with Tinoco, but he's been dinked up, and oh my goodness, he falls straight through the smoke. Landon is there for the trade. Moth is also here on the B bomb site, but World M80's oyster at this point. They can really go wherever they please, and Lake has made the decision very simple for them. That B site, open for business, all 3 kills in his favor. Rex should be able to find one, but timing evades him, and W1 in an impossible 1v4 total will mean that M80 should confirm themselves 11 rounds on this offense.
Yeah, it's no saving a situation on this one at all for Laser. They have to go for it. We're in the last round, like you said, and it's a moment to see what he's able to find. He doesn't have the kit, and now the bodies just go for the swing, and there it is. It's a sinful first half here for M80 with 11-1, and we'll see what else they got cooking on the CT side. Well, after an explosive first half, here we are at 11-1, and E-Xolos LAZER now have their work cut out for them if they want to make the comeback a reality. But man, oh man, they got the work cut out for them, and it's us, Laz and Paladin, once again to bring you through here for the last match here on the B stream. And do M80 have enough gas in the tank to get things done here and close things out?
Yeah, you like to think so. They've been looking absolutely stellar. Lake does get his bell rung. Has got a smoke and a kit here to at least stall out the offense if the Brazilian side want to extend in. And it's not to be. They will basically show a very similar pistol round to that of M80, where they double back to the A bomb site, hoping that W1's aggression should be enough, but Rek this time is the snake in the grass. He knows what's coming. He finds the opener, and he should be up for a couple more if he stays alive for long enough, but Landon takes him out. Now it's just Slacks on the back of the site. He needs a couple here to make this a viable round, and he gets nothing. So LAZER will find themselves the motor smoke up, a bomb plant, and a man advantage to get themselves at least a second round in this game. At this point, Laz, it's really just a save face.
Yep, it really is. Yeah, and I would have liked to see Slacks, trying to stay alive as much as possible. I feel like him kind of swinging on that was, I feel like he could have bided a little bit more time for his teammates, but it really isn't too much to stress about right now. Like you said, I mean, I think for LAZER, they're going to be able to get themselves at least another round on the board. And right now for the CT side, I mean, they do have a kit and armor on these players. I mean, you can see that Sin's all the way in the back of Banana, so I actually don't even hate this. I mean, even if they do kind of save these pistols and, the investments they have, wouldn't be against it necessarily. I don't know if Sin's going to be able to stay alive. Okay, yes, he will. And there we go. LAZER going to get themselves back in this game, and Sin's just got to stay alive, question mark. Yes, he will. Okay, good. Either way, now the question will be, what does M80 want to go for? Because, again, they didn't find a lot of kills in their favor, Paladin, but you know what? Before I can even finish my sentence, there's already guns being purchased. They're just, they're trying to make a statement now.
Yeah, confidence is just oozing from this side right now that why wouldn't you take the force buy opportunity? I'll definitely try to go through with it. I still a lot of threats to try and avoid here if you are on the M80 side, or the LAZER side. This FAMAS can get a little dangerous, and so can that MP9 on Rek. Surprised that Lake didn't want to go in with the P250. He's just opted in for USP to potentially pick up a weapon off of a dead teammate. But very apprehensive plays from LAZER so far. Just churning their way through the B-bomb side. Getting themselves car control and kind of just resting all their laurels. They know that they don't have really any leeway to make any egregious mistakes. Meaning that this minute 10 is very, very important.
Yeah, this is, again, I think for E-Xolos LAZER, they're getting themselves ready to go for the execute into this B site. Oh, look at Swisher. He's just right there in front of him. The smoke's just blocking it off. Oh, no way. No way this is happening. He's walking right into him, but okay. Now the jig is up. E-Xolos LAZER get the info that they're all there. But it is still 5 players remaining here for the CT side. So, I mean, again, they have a smoke available. They do have a singular kit. I wouldn't even be against for them to go for this. I think this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think you can have a look in. I think it's still a difficult ask considering the weaponry disadvantage. So what they can do in this situation is try to double dip their buy and sit outside the site and make them have a poor buy in the round following. There is that real opportunity, and Swisher finds another through the smoke. Again, they can look in as much as they want. It's still a little bit of time here. A trade available. Sin will find it. But, yeah, Lake will only find one. Moth should be able to confirm the round. A lot of damage done and a lot of cash earned from M80, but not the round. And that's the most important thing that they were looking for, at least to hold the guns. There's an option here if they want to purchase all in again, considering all 5 players went down. But it's up to them. They can kind of be a little bit more economically savvy and take the save instead.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a big question, but it doesn't look like they're going to spend too much money. It's, kind of in total. I think, you know, a couple thousand, but that's really between the four of them, right? So, but not going to happen. Really big investment. A swing comes through into mids, and actually Sin, he wins a bit of an engagement in mid with Mac 10, but okay, that's going to work with the range, but that's not a bad start here. But again, you have to remember that he's the only player here with a kit and the armor, so the rest of these players, they're all kind of sitting, you know, pretty vulnerable here with no armor for aim punch and stuff like that. So it's not going to be great if they get a rifle in their hands, but if they can still, you know, kind of taking down these T's and depleting that money, I feel like that is the name of the game here for this round of 15. But even E-Xolos LAZER, we saw them before in Ancient that they were starting to overthink things and, you know, not really able to cook up a good strat. I mean, they still have a minute left on this, but again, they have to make a decision soon. You have 4 players from M80 in this A site, and they're walking right into the mousetrap.
Yeah, they've got everything they could ask for, M80 at this point. Everything but weaponry, really. But Swisher is still there, tucked into that Cold Zero box. 40 seconds left on the clock, and E-Xolos LAZER are kind of backed into one option and one option only. It's this A site. W1 does get himself out, but now Swisher's position has been noted, and he can only find himself one. Sin does find another as well, so we're still locked in at a 2-2. Dinoco does get the bomb down, however. Lake, really, that snake in the grass, has to find some sort of an opening. He realizes the crossfire that's at hand, and he just can't disassemble it. Great double swing from both W1 and Dinoco. Sin should not be able to find anything in this round here. And, yeah, there it is. 4th round found for E-Xolos LAZER. And M80 will have to try it on a little bit later.
Yeah, so we're starting to see a little bit more stride through for E-Xolos LAZER, and now this is a big question, right? Because we haven't really seen M80 on a gun round, so this will be the first time, so on the CT side at least. But okay, the ops out as well. Slacks, I feel like we haven't really talked about him at all here with the op. Like, I don't think we've ever really had much opportunity for it.
Haven't needed to, really.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? So this is a very important round just in the sake for M80 as well, to keep themselves on that, you know, precipice of getting themselves a map point. And they're doing a good job already, stunting them a little bit, but actually the fight engagement will go in favor right now for the T side. And Swisher with a beautiful spam, but Sin, look at how much he just maneuvers around Swisher. Such good little bit of a combination here for the 2. And now E-Xolos LAZER, they're losing bodies quick.
Yeah, that's a beautiful bait and switch setup between the IGL and Swisher. And now, I mean, you've got a little bit of space from W1 and he's lurked up, meaning this A side has to be the last-ditch effort. But Slacks is here waiting in the wings, but what a shot from Moth, absolutely sidelining the German sniper. That means it's now Rek's turn to do some damage, and he's found one from the pit. Has to stay alive for as long as possible. The cavalry is still trying to arrive, and he's staying alive for so long now that it doesn't matter if he finds a kill or not. He's just stalling. The teammates are here. Swisher's found another, and the knife swings are out, but Moth can't find anything. Rek has found his way into graveyard, and Moth can't find just anybody. It's just ghost town now at this point, and now he's got to clutch up. He finds one onto Sin, but this high-low setup is just so hard to disassemble. There's no way this is going to happen, and Rek is there. What a heroic round there from Rek.
Okay, that has got to be, I feel like I say this every like couple weeks, but that has got to be one of the most any rounds we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like the knives came out, and I talked so much about, you know, players on the CT side. If you can just stay alive, allow those rotates to come through, it just buys you so much time. But man, that was a different demonstration of that from Rek. Like, he gets in the smoke, hides around, he just maneuvers, throws a flash in there. He's able to even retreat and re-aggress to go for a fight. So yeah, it's just such a blunder of a situation for LAZER. You're just going to kick yourselves for it. And now the map point here, right in the palm of the hands here for MM80, but they have already lost 2 players early on. Op's going to get some kind of a connection. Will he be able to find a second? He will not, but at least it's some damage. and it's back to a 3-on-4. The player advantage right now for Laser, but the bomb is dropped. It's still a bit of a control here for the T side, but it looks like they're just kind of playing a bit of a ruse on this. They're kind of waiting things out, burning the clock as much as possible. But look at M80, Paladin. I think they're giving up already.
Yeah, they're gonna turn and burn here, just saving straight away, and I don't think this is a bad call. You want to close this out. Sure, you're going up against a bad buy, but there are a couple lapses in judgment to lose that mid player with his aggression and the apps fight as well not going in their way. It's too much to ask for as far as a retake is concerned. So Laser continue to rack up a couple more T rounds, and at this point, as I said before, it is all just consolation. It is just to make Laser feel as though this was a bit of a competition. But I can assure you, to the viewers that have entered the stream at this point in time, that it has not been close whatsoever.
Yeah, that's definitely the truth, right? I mean, the scoreline is getting a little bit more and more, but it definitely, you know, we're seeing M80 just playing a lot more conservative, and like you said, just really just trying to be smart here to get things done. And I don't blame them at all. And wow, even Malt goes down too, so they should have enough money here for the guns, but just again a situation not necessary for him. But keeping that op, keeping the double M4s is a really good position right now for the CT side, because even with the low player or low funds on these two players, it's not going to matter because their teammates are going to be able to help them out. So second timeout activated here from Laser, and I think it's definitely a good decision because they have a lot of decisions to make on this. But I think the question will be, what's the different play here? Are they going to try something like that before in mid aggression, or do they kind of go back to the old faithful of the default?
Yeah, 7 rounds is a long way to go, and you need to have your ducks in a row when it comes to a long comeback like this. So making sure that you can get everything out there into the ether is very important. But still, M80 firmly in the driver's seat to close this series of best of ones out. Showcase to us why they're considered the favorites in ECL. And Slacks will still have that sniper. We did find those connections necessary, but it was not enough at the tail end of it all to get over that hump. This time he's actually keen on taking a mid duel. Doesn't find that necessary target to strike with. And with that, E-Xolos LAZER will get themselves car control and push back the CTs into the site. A real opportunity if they want to just aggress straight away and try to collapse.
Sin giving himself a little bit here, but it's actually Lake that's been taken out. E-Xolos are going to go for the play. They're just going to try to commit to this. They're not going to wait around anymore. They are winning these fights now. They're starting to wake up a little bit better. This is where we were saying, you know, M80 looked very, very scary here. The firepower was just prevailing, but now we're starting to see these connections slowly and surely making their way through for E-Xolos LAZER. M80 with 3 players remaining, and once again it's back to the old save simulator. And again, it makes sense, right? I mean, it's easy to criticize it, but you got to keep the op, you got the utility, you have that armor. There's so much riding here for the CT side, and their money is pretty much in the dumps. So this is a really good call. I know it's boring, but you got to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, they had the right read there, M80. They called the pump fake for Laser, and they committed to it. They held strong, but a couple of well-placed flashbangs and some smart trading from Laser nets them that 6th round. And the CT side continues to struggle closing out this game. They still have 6 more opportunities to do so, and they've still got a healthy buy here. They will take that first tactical timeout that they needed to get Def on the mic, just button down whatever is going on right now, because they can feel that they're on the precipice. They just need to make sure they can hunker down and then close this game out. For Laser, still not enough to really kind of talk about really that you can count on moving on forward in the next round.
Well, exactly. And I mean, and this is where, you know, I think all the memes and, you know, for teams that choke, you know, on points like this, right? Like being on a series point and map point, it is a big stress, right? Because it does get to your head. You know, you only need one more round to close things out. But like you said, I think, you know, someone experienced like Def, you know, coming, you know, on the comms here, just kind of talking to the guys, probably just, you know, reconfirming a few things is definitely the right one. I think that was their first time out, if I'm not mistaken. So it was definitely the right decision. But we'll see what happens a little bit differently. The deep phase smoke comes through from the CT side, so it kind of again is a little bit of a ruse in the sense of potentially a, you know, aggression into ult middle, but actually it's wreck right now. Oh man, just slithering through, sneaking the grass like you said, and look at that fight he's able to get, but unfortunately he can't get out of that. But that's a good reaction from Laser, a really good trade, because if he would have gotten out, that could have been costly here for this round 19.
Yeah, ballsy play from Rek, and he's lucky to get away with one kill there. If he goes down with nothing, it looks even more foolish. And now Slacks has another opportunity to tilt the scales back into their favor, but doesn't hit that connection, meaning that the T side get themselves a lot of room to work with. They get apps control. They're slowly starting to scale up and at least feign presence up car. And they're going to want to end on A here with 45 seconds left on the clock. And oh my goodness, Slacks is going to be left to his own devices here. It seems as though the gamble will not pay off unless the German sniper can go huge.
Yeah, I'd love to see him reposition though. I mean, again, look at this. Like he has three different
So
players. Yeah, he's a dead man. Like he's an absolute dead man. Yeah, he missed that shot. Really good play from E-Xolos LAZER. And once again, M80 are going to have to save these guns. And unfortunately, this time they're not going to be able to, you know, preserve the off. And I really don't like that call. I mean, I don't know why they put Slacks kind of as that one player. I would have preferred having a rifle to be the anchor. There's more of an opportunity that they can slow things down, or maybe find a double kill, making the conversation for a retake.
Well,
But
it's a gamble, you know. I think the big thing there for Sin is like your site players on the B side have been pushed all the way back from Banana. You don't have any information as to whether an execute is taking place. You're in the dark, and Slacks isn't seeing anything. Brackets, it's a split decision to make. And unfortunately for them, it's not snap enough. They don't make that decision quickly, and because of that, they kind of suffer the consequences. And Slacks is left out to dry. I honestly think it's just a very well pieced together round there from Laser, pulling and pushing the rotations very smartly there.
yeah, that's a good point. It definitely is. And I mean, I don't want to take that away from Laser at all, because that was a really good play. I always have a hard time with the anchor of like in a position like that, just with the op. But either way, we'll digress. It doesn't matter. But the op is still going to be in play here for Slacks, and I mean, complemented with the A1s. But now, you know, for M80, we haven't really seen them try something different yet, right? I mean, the T-side was a big variety of different things that they were doing, but it's back to the 3-2, kind of rotating Slacks into this B site now. So doing a little bit of a hot potato and just kind of repositioning themselves.
Oh!
E-Xolos, look at the positioning and look at how quick they got there. And now they're doing tons of damage. This is a huge gain from them right now. And they can kind of pounce on this if they want. Or, again, they can just reset.
No flash, no nothing. They just go dry swinging with zero information. And both Lake Slacks take heavy damage because of that. And now, I mean, Laser are going to do again what they did in the round previous. Show some car control, double back to brackets and end on this A site. But this time, M80, they've adapted. They've sent 3 players in here. The crossfire is established. And I don't think that Laser can get through unless Moth can cook up entries like that. That's a nice one to find, and they're going to try to barrel their way through. It's up to Rek, the hero of the round that they were able to secure, and Sin is also here. And surely this is the round that they're able to convert. It's a 2v4 necessary. Make that a 1v4. And now Tadazin, not known to be the Opera, has got to dig deep to keep Laser alive on Inferno. So many players to piece together and not enough time. Lake will find him through the smoke. M80 showing a spectacular T-side. Took a little bit more time on that defense, don't get me wrong, but they get the job done nonetheless, and they have a flawless start to their ECL debut.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's not forget that again. It is going to be that 2-0 for them in ECL. But yeah, I guess a little bit like, we talked about on Ancient, there was some kinks that had to be worked out, for M80. I think clearly we're seeing for Inferno.